Shabbat shalom, Lyman. How are you doing today? Very good. Your eyebrows look great. You talked to my husband about that. I know, but they're just, they look like they've been recently trimmed. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah. Got my birthday card and everything. Thank you. And a little chuckle. How many people go tomorrow to the show? 16. Yeah. It's really good actors. Yeah. I read a little afterwards, it's like, it's kind of like the time I saw it very first day. I listened. It's like, as if everybody would just say everything that was good ever talking and that filter. We're like, yeah, but. That's it. That's right. It's responsible. Yeah. It's very. Oh, well, there's what the temperature has in here. I have been. Say hello. Well, it's kind of behind. Oh, no.
Hello, Bootless.
Oh, great.
That's right.
We both lost
We
our
both graduated.
Yeah, we did.
About
time. Yeah.
Good.
Oh. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, hey, Nina.
Yeah, I texted her today, and I'm just looking for the weather well. We're home to dinner.
And
I'm hungry. You're hungry? I'm not hungry. We went to, we kind of pretended that that's our retirement. Right? We made your and spent money with the. Everyone be, oh, by the way, you're right. No. I just didn't. I thought we have the grades. One point two, south. Yeah.
yeah.
It's busy.
Hello.
So like, let's not get along.
How are you?
You don't know what to do?
It's really good when you come over.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's not really fun, but it's, yeah, but. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether it's,
Want to put it in the office?
Fair enough.
Yep.
So it's always.
Yeah, my
You know,
mom's lived.
I pulled up to her house to show her that it's an investment property.
Um,
And I was like,
Oh.
I mean, that's out here. Oh, no. And it's just like nobody I know wants to do it.
My family is so good. No, that's not so
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This way, this way.
She's not gonna be able to.
No, this is their time. I plan to go over for, 10,000 apartments. It's a, help with this.
It's actually Jewish.
No, it's not. It's just a place of use. Yeah, it's, way more.
So very old school.
It's like
His grandparents. Very close to his. And it was the same, it was like every other. Live there.
Yeah.
And then
They're
Yeah.
upstairs.
Well, I mean, my mom. Oh, that's your dream. Did some research. Yeah.
Good. Kids.
Yeah.
I just imagine. So they can go for it. I'll take it. You can actually do. Oh. I think I'm gonna have it out this like. Yeah, no, these are actually.
Maybe smash a letter.
Congratulations.
Yeah, more often so. February 28th is my last day. Massive. Take it easy. So, since I love the rabbit. So that's okay.
I don't remember things anymore.
I think you're one of them. No, I was like.
So I like today, was something about it. This is, you don't look at the.
Have it. Hey.
Come on, go on. My things are pretty bad. I've had enough life experience for more more than my years. But practice makes me the therapist. I mean, for the resources to be none.
Okay.
I think it's all time.
Well, I didn't see it.
I do want to.
Sure. Shabbat Shalom. So we'll begin on page 2 as we welcome Shabbat and light our Shabbat candles. And Ali, would you come forward? We're celebrating both Ali and Karen out of their medical apparatus.
I'm up in like candy.
Yeah, Karen, you come up and light candles too.
The boot is. Do you want me to do this first?
Yeah.
Okay. We're doing the bottom reading. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. All right, then I'm gonna pray.
Much more consistent. They work.
Baruch atah Elohim melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. So as we begin our Kabbalat Shabbat service, we're going to learn a new song, a new part of Kabbalat Shabbat, which is Ki Esh Merah Shabbat, is on page 11. Right.
Okay. All right,
So
good.
it'll be familiar to some, and I think we'll just go over, you want to go over the words?
Or just the same words.
Well, let's say the words together, and then we'll figure out the tune as we go, right? Ki Esh Merah Shabbat El Yishmereni Ot Ki Le'olamei Ad Beino Uveni. Okay, and when I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. It is a sign forever between God and me.
So the Ki Esh Merah Shabbat El Yishmereni repeats, and then the Oti, the Omad, Beno, Uveni has pretty much the same too, but the Beno, Uveni is a little bit different the second time through. So if you know it already, please sing along and sing loudly, and if not, then we can go through it twice so everyone get a chance to sing it through. Ki Esh Merah Shabbat El Yishmereni Ki Esh Merah Shabbat El Yishmereni Oti Le'omei Ad Beino Uveni Oti Le'omei Ad Beino Uveni. Great. We'll turn together to page 20 as we join in, or no, right? We want to do Ms. Morsh? No. Lechuna Ranana, yes. Lechuna Ranana, page 12.
turn to page 20 as we join in Lecha Dodi, and we welcome our Shabbat bride.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'ribor echad, Yishmiyanu el hamiluchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, Hashem ol tiferet v'tila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor ha'beracha, Merosh mikerem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, Tov emunei am segula, Boi kala, Boi kala. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela.
Please be seated as we continue Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, a psalm, a song for Shabbat, page 22.
Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Toledot Adonai, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Toledot Adonai, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Uzamer
continue on page 26 as we rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ויעמד יברכותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון וכידך בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב בימרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולם מעלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה
Baruch
לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא בימרו אמן.
And on page 28, we join in our call to worship, Baruch Hu.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך
Baruch
אדוני המבורך לעולם אמן.
Please be seated and let's join together as we read Ma'ariv Aravim at the very top of page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim uvitzvuna mishane itim umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi layla umavdil ben yom uven layla Adonai tziva'ot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. As we rise for Shema, page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated as we continue with Va'ahavta, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Our song of freedom, Mi Chamocha, page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef velech.
Malchutacha ra'u vanecha bokeh yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze Eli anu va'amru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov u'galo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 43. Let's join it at the top of the page. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We thank God for the opportunity and the joy that we have in celebrating Shabbat together as we join in V'Shamru, page 44.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. B'nei Ulein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise together for Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, V'Gula Lifnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol harav v'hoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim b'chesed. Mechayeh hakol b'rachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim. Umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha ונאמנתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, קדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated as we continue, top of page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. And let's join together, top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. And may all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 57. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 59. Modim anachnu lach, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. And let's join in our prayer for peace at the top of page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace.
Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam.
We take a few moments, leaving the wisdom and history and prayers of our prayer book aside. We look inward to those prayers in our own hearts, in our own minds, those private messages, those private conversations that we might want to have with God.
Yehiyu leratzon, imrechi, dehegyon libi, lefanecha, Adonai, tzuri.
We turn together to page 253. And we think of all those in our lives, our friends, our family, people in our community, people that we've maybe not even met, people that we've just heard about, who need our prayers for healing, who need that extra energy to help them recover. And healing can come in so many different ways, healing of body and soul and mind and heart. And so as we ask for God's blessings of healing for all those who need, in our congregation we especially mention Rabbi Brad Liefeld, Ross McCullough, Jan Mandel, Barbara Shapira, Marcia Koblitz, Eric Shabeta, Doug Botner, Paula Perry, Nancy Thompson, Melanie Wood, Stephanie Willis, Irv Willis, Alicia Leopold, Louis Tenenbaum, Kathy Zaks, Carol Ford, Ali Ford, Zachary Salmon, Patty Basile, Susan Shea, Sean Shea, Mary Lynn Rinsberg, and the Kerman and Rinsberg families, Lita Lubin, and Sandra Lynch. If you're joining us via live stream and you would like to add a name, please add the name into our chat. If you are here in person and would like to add a name as I look around, please do so.
Jennifer Greenspoon, Bella Greenspoon, Paige Center.
Let's join together.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu.
Shabbat Shalom. Who knows what these are? Tefillin. Great. How many people have ever put them on? Yes, a few. Good. So these actually feature in our Torah portion this evening. They sometimes are a bit strange looking. If you've never seen them before or put them on before, they are the black boxes that have on the inside the text of the Shema and V'ahavta and the third, fourth paragraphs of the Shema. And so you actually have 4 little pieces of parchment that go here on the part that goes over your forehead like that. And then they have it all 4 paragraphs again in one scroll that go on the part that goes on your arm. Why do we wear them? Do we wear them? Well, if we think about it, if we go back to this week's Parsha, in Exodus 13, it says, "And they shall be a sign for you," which is exactly the way it says in the V'ahavta, right? "On your hand and a reminder between your eyes." Now, tefillin are only worn during morning services and not on Shabbat or holidays. They are typically there to help us remember why we're here, why we're praying, and what we're praying about, and who we might be praying to. After all, it has the Shema in it, which, of course, is our kind of faith statement. But what do they actually mean? Well, the tefillin on the arm is said by the Midrashic rabbis to represent action. The box sits closest to your heart. Because what we do in the world, our kindnesses, our actions, should be guided by love and compassion, which comes from the heart. And the tefillin on our foreheads represents thought and wisdom. The idea that our intellect and our emotions should be in sync. And, let's be honest, that's not an easy thing to do, right? To get your intellect and your emotions in sync is hard. Anybody ever, went click on an Amazon purchase? Really? Yes. There is a story of a man who was in a rush one morning and accidentally put his tefillin on backwards. Shock, I know. He put the head part on his arm and the arm part on his head, and he is there praying, and the rabbi comes up to him and says, "Well, you made the mistake, but at least you've got your priorities straight. You're thinking with your hands and you're working with your heart, your head." Well, Judaism, isn't only about thinking, right? It's about living our actions, living our ideas, our ideals. So we can have all of the wisdom in the world, but if it doesn't translate into ethical action, Jordan, what good is it? Imagine the person who studies cookbooks all day, reads cookbooks all day, but never cooks anything out of them. What's the point? Right? Would you want to go to dinner at their house? As long as somebody else is cooking, it doesn't matter right. So the straps. Think about the straps. We wrap them around the arm. First, we wrap them around the arm 7 times. 7, of course, is a mystical number. There's 7 days of the week. There are 7 weeks between slavery of Egypt and receiving Torah at Mount Sinai. There are 7 ways into our head, right? That encompass most of our senses. Our ability to smell and hear and speak. And so as we wrap ourselves in these leathers, in these wraps, we're constantly reminded of the holiness that we are intentionally grabbing onto, or the intentionally binding ourselves and connecting ourselves into. One of my favorite stories about tefillin is about the one who put on tefillin for the first time, and if you know, if you've ever tried to put them on, that when you put them on for the first time, it's weird and uncomfortable, and it just feels like it's just odd, right? Well, he calls the rabbi, and he says, I just can't get these things to fit right. They don't seem to just sit. And of course, the rabbi responds with saying, that's truly one of the lessons of tefillin. That sometimes getting comfortable with something takes a while to make it part of who you are, make it part of your ritual observance, make it part of your practice. So many Reformed Jews will say, and I've had this conversation with lots of people, well, Reformed Judaism doesn't put on tefillin, right? Except it's in our prayer book. So somebody must be doing it. And in fact, it is true that historically, early Reform rejected things like tefillin, things like a talit or a kippah, all of those sort of ritual practices that didn't have a logical or a rational foundation. The early Reformers kind of rejected them and dispensed with them. And then over the last half century, we have been increasingly embracing and reshaping our relationship with ritual objects, including Hebrew, right? If you went to Temple Anshe Chesed in the 50s and 60s, I think Lyman might be able to help us with that. Lyman, how much Hebrew was there in the service when you first started coming to temple?
How much Hebrew was there? How much Hebrew was in the service when you were young?
Okay, not much.
He had to go to Priscilla to learn Hebrew.
Right, there you go. His parents wanted him to learn Hebrew, so they had to send him to the other synagogue, right? The more traditional synagogue, right? Walter, right? The new building right? The second building of Anshe Chesed opens in 1930, and Walter is the first bar mitzvah 10 years later, which means they weren't doing it, right? They weren't having bar mitzvah in those early years. Right. So, same thing, right? So it is this process that we have all been engaged with as a liberal community of reshaping our relationship with all of these ritual objects. And indeed, tefillin is certainly one of them. So they can be a powerful reminder that we are a faith of balance. Balancing between the mind and the heart, the sacred, the mundane, the deep wisdom of our tradition, and the often messy realities of daily life. They can remind us that holiness isn't found only in grand gestures or in grand spaces, but in small daily acts. Small ways that we as individuals can connect to God and each other, and really develop and better our own selves as we go. And so as we look at tefillin, and we see the twists of the leathers and the strangeness of the boxes, it's a true reminder that Judaism isn't something that we just think about, but it's something that we actively have to do. Judaism exists because we do it, not because we only read about it or learn about it. Shabbat Shalom. We'll turn together to page 282, and Ally, would you come and open the ark? Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה ארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומי הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת בוקנו אפס זולתו הכתוב בתורתו וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל והארץ מתחת אין עוד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And we call to mind the memories of all of those who died most recently in this horrible aviation accident in DC. And we pray for their families, that their families are able to begin this process of healing after this terrible tragedy. And in our congregation, we especially observe a yahrzeit for Dora Bernstein, Emil Cohn, Gertrude Meyer, Benjamin Zaks, Sidney Hyman, A.L. Rao, Sam Sherman, Martha Gashi, Arthur Gartner, Rhonda Huber, Nina Sherman, Helene Jacobson, Bess Pinsky Stone, Kaufman Kohler, Randall Falk Sr., Rebecca Levin, Adolf Harf, Francis Kimmel, Kathinka Schulhoff, Julius Horkheimer, Barbara Steinhardt, Benjamin Leon Bernstein, Hannah S. Lobman, Abraham Oppenheimer, Fanny Strauss-Prager, Lillian Ratner Cohen, Rose Goldschmidt Mayer, Jeannie Stein-Rudner, Emma Auerheim Sobel, Mortimer Ostheimer, Virginia Lowry Nichols Barrett. If you are joining us via live stream and would like to add a name, please add the name into our chat. If you are here in person and would like to add a name as I look around, please do so. We turn together to the words of Kaddish on page 294. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach erutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'larmeh amaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudshah barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran b'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Please be seated. I'd like to invite Ellie forward to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Services this week are in memory of Nina Sherman. We've got a lot going on this week. Tomorrow night, a group of us are going to see God of Carnage at PACA, and that's through the Templehood. Still, you can sign up if you still would like to come. And next Friday is the Friday to come because there's a lot going to be happening here. Gesher 2 is going to lead services. And then we're going to have our first TGIS Friday of 2025. You can still RSVP through the website. Join us for a fruitful Seder in celebration of Tu B'Shvat. And Friday.
So here's the deal.
Okay.
We're going to have a service on Friday night. It'll be with our Gesher 2 students, which will be lovely. And then right after services, we'll join together for our Tu B'Shvat Seder and dinner. So in order to enjoy the Seder, you have to come for dinner. So sign up on the website and please join us.
Yes. Also, we have an ongoing tzedakah campaign for our Kearsarge Food Bank. So anytime you come into the temple, if you can bring a can or some kind of food from your pantry, be much, much appreciated. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you. What are we finishing? We're going to finish with Heveinu Shalom Alechem, which I don't think is in our prayer books, but it's easy because those are all the words. Heveinu Shalom Alechem. There's a couple of ooh-ahs in there that you can add in, but you'll figure that out.
Heveinu Shalom Alechem. Alechem, Heveinu Shalom. Heveinu Shalom Alechem. Alechem, Heveinu Shalom. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Heveinu Shalom Alechem. Alechem, Heveinu. Alechem, Heveinu. Alechem, Heveinu Shalom.
We join in Kiddush on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai V'Shabbat Kodsho, Be'ahava Uvratzon Hinchilanu, Zikaron L'Maaseh Bereshit, Ki Hu Yom Techila, L'Mikra'e Kodesh, Zecher Etziat Mitzrayim, Ki Vanu V'acharta, Ve'otanu Kidashta, Mikomim, V'Shabbat Kodshecha, Be'ahava Uvratzon, Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim.
Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. I'll see you next week.